ladina. Ladina means what? Those. Now the next phrase is in a positive to this mustaqim to explain to us just what we're talking about, the Sirat al-Mustaqim. We're talking about the path of those, not of that. Straight would be, just straight would be thing. Now these are people who are seeking to straighten themselves out. All right? So hopefully we will learn to appreciate this process as we go along. And now we want to do something today, continue today in what we were doing last month, and that is engaging in this process of decoding. Decoding. A quick review. A code is that which stands for something, right? Words will let us represent sounds. And sounds represent what? Thoughts. All right? They're not thoughts, they represent thoughts. They have been agreed upon to represent thoughts. Certain thoughts. Whatever we agree that sound represents, that's what it represents. And just like we changed what's up, just like they have changed mustaqim, then it has a new meaning. But Allah says to us in the Quran, إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ. We have revealed it in Arabic Quran that you might make the connections. Well, it said that you might understand. But that's what understanding is, making the connections. Remember, even everyday understanding without any Arabic at all, I tell you something, you don't know what it is, and then later on you think of something that's related to it. It's, oh man, I know what our gene talking about now. What did you do? You made the connection with that new thing and something that you already knew, and now you understand. Yes. That's all it is. So the ta'qilun really means connecting old thoughts with new thoughts, and that's how we become more intelligent. You know, the word for the brain itself in Arabic is from the same root word as ta'qilun, aql. That's the brain, aql. And the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah has not given the human being anything better than the aql. That's how we grow in intelligence. The baby he hadn't had many experiences, but as he has more experience and he hear you say the word, and every time you say that word, you pick him up or you pick her up, and pretty soon the baby connects the idea, that word, that's me. That's my name. I've told this one before, but I'll make it real quick. My second oldest daughter was taken care of by her older sister, who was 10 years older than her. So she helped her mother, because another baby came right after her 20 months later. So she helped with the oldest daughter, Fatima, second oldest daughter, Fatima. And she would say, Mama, she's whining. Oh, well, give her a couple ounces of milk. Next thing, Mama, she's whining. Well, give her a couple ounces of juice. Mama, she's crying. Well, give her a couple ounces. She can't be home. Give her a couple ounces of water. Guess what Fatima's first word was? She's a PhD now. She made that connection. Guess what her first words were? She came with her bottle to her big sister. Ounces. She didn't say ounces of milk, ounces of water. She knew that she had figured out that the key word was ounces. Now this is a little baby, 20-some months old, but she had figured out that that key word is what gets results. When that lady there says ounces, I get something. Right. All right? I'm saying that to you so you don't underestimate yourself and think, I will never get this Arabic. All you have to do is just absorb yourself in it. And just keep. And by the way, one of the ways I mentioned it to you before, and I'll mention it again, and then we're going to go on with the Al-Fatiha. If you don't have a recording of any part of the Quran, get some anyway. Get some Quranic recording, and just listen to it. You're not required to go, well, I can say this. No, just listen. Let it become at home in your hearing capacity, so that it won't sound foreign to you. Right. Just let it become, and that way it will be easier. See, what am I telling you to do? I'm telling you, let the sounds get in there. Then when we tell you what the meaning of the sound, what the meaning has been agreed upon on those sounds, it'll be easy. You won't have to learn the sound and the meaning. You already have the sound in your head. You see what I'm saying? But if you got to learn the sound, the spelling, and the meaning, then that's what makes it complicated. All right. So this is what we're involved in, coming into agreement with the codes that have already been set up. And let me show you how simple it is. How many of you drive?
Everybody.
I'm looking at everybody. Just let everybody drive. All right. Some of you a little slow. That means I don't want to be in front of you.
Should be driving.
All right. But all of us who drive have agreed upon a code. There's nothing divine about green. But we know that means go, right? There's nothing divine about red. But we know that means stop. And there's nothing divine about yellow. We know that means speed up. I mean, be cautious. Some people do speed up. They hit it. But you're really supposed to proceed with caution then, all right? All right, so, but all it is code that you had to come into agreement upon before you are allowed to before you can possibly safely get behind the wheel. And of course, I don't know if you're colorblind. If you're colorblind, you have to have some kind of compensation. I don't know what compensation you would use, but I'm sure they have some people who are colorblind have some way of compensating, at least position of the light, you know, green at the top and red. That's probably what they go on, you know. But you have to have something. So we're coming into agreement. Now, the next part to this is looking at these marks and determining what those marks represent. If you go to the same site, Mosque has, and you can get a complete review on this, because it's already there. Go back to the first class was December, the first Sunday in December 2012, but we didn't get into the Arabic symbols then at that time. We just talked about the language. So the first Sunday in January of 2013 is where the classes begin. Go and you'll find a review of what we're going to tell you. There are 3 letters that represent sound in the Arabic language. They don't make sound now, but they represent. They've been agreed upon to represent sound. That's a, e, u. Those are the only sounds that there are in the language. And then we can shorten those sounds. A, e, u. They're not new sounds. They're just shortened, right? So that makes 6 sounds if you want to call them separate sounds. But really only 3, and that's the a, e, u. And then you can mix the short sounds with a different long sound, and you get 4 more sounds. A-e, a-u, u-e, e-u. Those are called diphthongs. Go back and review that for the sound, okay? The rest of the letters in the language do nothing but tell us where to start and or stop making those 3 sounds or those 10 sounds if you want to count them all as sounds. That's all they do. They're called consonants. That's true in English also. They just didn't. I was an English teacher, and I didn't teach that, you know. I didn't know then. Allah bless me to see that later. They represent places in which to start or stop making a sound. Now the next thing, this is where we are now. That's why I say go back and review that. This is where we are now. We're into something called syllabication. Every human being, whether he's speaking Arabic, English, or cussing, he speaks or she speaks in syllables. A syllable is the smallest pronounceable part of a word. So we want to go through the Al-Fatiha today to help you correct any mispronunciation that you have, because I know most of you should or probably know how to recite the Al-Fatiha, and then sometimes our recitations may be so bad until it might take us longer than a new person to get it straightened out. Why? Because when you learn something wrong, it's hard to correct it. And some of us say, well, that's just the way I say it. Well, you're not in agreement with the rest of the speakers of the language. So it's kind of like the lady was watching the parade and said, look at them children. All of them out of step, except my son. You know. So you might be the only one that's doing it right. The rest of us are out of step. But let's just all get in step together, all right? So here's what I've done for this sheet. And by the way, let me make this announcement. Inshallah, my wife and I came up with this idea this week. And so I haven't gotten started on it yet, but inshallah we'll do it. We're going to make DVDs that will be structured just like we have here. in syllables. The two different colors represent every time you change syllables. O, zu, bil, la. He doesn't have to. You don't have to have two different colors. But we're going to do it in two different colors so it's easier for you to see where your is as opposed to the O and so forth. And we're going to do that